Harley Quinn, Gotham's most unpredictable anti-hero, Joker's former sidekick, and the Queen of Chaos. But what if the law finally caught up with her? In today's video, we're putting Harley Quinn on trial and charging her for every crime she's committed. Could Harley survive a day in court, or is she destined for a life behind bars? Stick around because you won't believe the charges she's racked up over the years. Harley Quinn's rap sheet is as long as her list of ex-boyfriends. First up, assault and battery classic Harley. Whether she's swinging a mallet or throwing a punch, Harley's never been one to shy away from a brawl. But in the eyes of the law, every punch comes with a price. Depending on the severity, Harley could be looking at years behind bars for just one of her many assaults. But what if she tried to plead insanity? After all, she was a psychiatrist before she went rogue. We'll dive into that defense later, so keep watching. Next, let's talk about robbery. Harley's not just about causing chaos, she's also got a knack for stealing anything that's not nailed down. Jewelry stores, banks, you name it, Harley's probably robbed it. But robbery isn't just about taking stuff, it's also about how you take it. Armed robbery, for example, is a serious offense that could add decades to her sentence. And let's not forget about grand theft, auto Harley's favorite way to make a quick getaway. What kind of time could she be looking at for these crimes? We've got the details coming right up. Of course, Harley isn't just a one-woman crime spree. She's often seen leading a gang of misfits, which brings us to our next charge, conspiracy. By planning and executing crimes with her crew, Harley could be charged with conspiracy, adding even more years to her potential sentence. And if anyone got hurt during one of her escapades, that's where things get really tricky. Felony charges could turn her sentence from years to life in prison. But does Harley even care about the consequences? We'll get into her mindset and what that means for her defense in just a moment. Now let's get into some of Harley's more creative crimes. Remember that time she tried to flood Gotham with a giant wave of jello? Or when she unleashed an army of trained hyenas on the city? These might seem like classic Harley shenanigans, but in the real world, they'd lead to some pretty serious charges, like destruction of property and reckless endangerment. The law doesn't have much of a sense of humor when it comes to public safety, so Harley could be facing a mountain of fines and even more jail time. But would her wild antics earn her any sympathy in court? We'll explore that next. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this deep dive into Harley Quinn's criminal record, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We've got more videos like this one, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now, back to Harley's potential legal defenses. As we mentioned earlier, Harley was once a respected psychiatrist before she fell for the Joker. Could she claim insanity as a defense? The insanity plea is tricky, especially when dealing with someone as unpredictable as Harley. While she's clearly got some psychological issues, proving insanity in court is a whole different story. The prosecution would argue that Harley knows exactly what she's doing, and she enjoys it. But could a good lawyer twist that narrative in her favor? Keep watching, because we're about to break down how the insanity defense could play out for Harley. Speaking of the Joker, Harley's involvement with him opens up a whole new can of worms. Could she argue that she was manipulated or coerced into committing some of her crimes? The Joker is known for his mind games, and Harley was certainly under his influence for a long time. This could lead to a defense of duress, where Harley claims she was forced to commit crimes out of fear for her life. But could she really convince a jury of that? Or would they see right through it? We'll analyze that possibility in just a bit. Let's not forget about Harley's relationship with the rest of Gotham's villains. Her partnerships with characters like Poison Ivy and Catwoman add another layer to her criminal activities. When two or more people commit a crime together, it's called complicity, and it could mean more charges for Harley. Plus, with the amount of damage these team-ups have caused, the fines alone could bankrupt even the richest supervillain. But how much responsibility would Harley actually take for these crimes? Stick around, because we're diving into that next. And then there's Harley's more recent turn towards anti-heroism. In some stories, we've seen her trying to do the right thing, even if her methods are a little unconventional. Could this be used to her advantage in court? Maybe Harley's trying to reform, and a good lawyer could argue that she deserves a second chance. But would the judge buy it? Or would her past crimes overshadow any good she's done? We've got the answer coming up. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the potential verdict. With all the charges against her, Harley could be facing multiple life sentences, or even the death penalty in some states. But this is Harley Quinn we're talking about. Could she charm her way out of a conviction? Or would she end up spending the rest of her life behind bars? It's hard to say for sure, but one thing's certain, Harley Quinn's trial would be one for the history books. So, what do you think? Would Harley Quinn be able to beat the charges, or is she destined for a life in prison? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more content on the way, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.